What's up, party people? Howdy, howdy. Welcome to the funnest place on earth. It's not Disneyland, but it's Moneyland. Welcome to Moneyland. If you can see the screen and hear the voice, if you can hear my voice right now, please say what up. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what's the number one thing that you're wanting to learn from today's training. And if I can give it to you, I will do it. We got the boys in the background. We're just going on live right now on Facebook. And we'll get started here in just a second. Got an amazing training for you today. I'm really, really excited to share some of this. We got Buffalo, New York, London. Welcome from London, Athens, Georgia, Greenville, South Carolina. How to get more leads. We'll talk about that. Brazil, another London, Phoenix, Arizona. What's up? Massachusetts. Victoria, Canada. Tell you what, one of my favorite places I've ever been to was Banff up in Canada. Went skiing. It was so fun.
We are live on Facebook.
We're live on Facebook too. Who would have thought? Let me pull it up. Ian Sullivan wants to learn how I get my hair so amazing. That's going to take more than one Facebook Live, I'm afraid. It's a lot of work, a lot of efforts. That's the answer. And if you're on Facebook, welcome. Glad you're here. If you could do us a favor and just say hello. If you can hear us and see us on Facebook, want to make sure we don't have any tech issues. And tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're drinking. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us your credit card number. Just kidding. Just kidding. That was a joke. Please don't do that right now. Boom. Ashton, you all right?
Bro, I'm fantastic. I'm doing great.
I love that. Hey, as we go through today's training, I want you to know that we're going to be doing a section at the end for Q&A. But Ashton's on here. We're going to be doing, I've got a long training. I'm going to try to condense this puppy into an hour. And that's a lot of information. Ashton saw my notes. I mean, we're giving a lot of training today. I'm going to try to cram it into an hour. This is going to be really good. But if you do have questions, what I want you to do is throw them in the chat box anyways, because Ashton is going to be collecting your questions, See what I did there?
I see it.
pretty good. It's pretty funny. Anyways, he's going to be collecting your questions, and we're going to be answering them at the end in a Q&A. So without further ado, we're talking about the Holy Grail marketing system. If you haven't followed our stuff, welcome. My name is Taylor Welch, the co-founder of this shindig known as Traffic and Funnels. And we help experts and client businesses create control and growth and demand for their businesses using paid traffic, organic traffic, all the above. So we're going to get into it. And I just want to take a poll of the audience. So we still got a ton of people hopping into Facebook Live. Have you ever lost a deal? This is an important question. I want you to answer truthfully. I'll answer after you answer. Have you ever lost a client that you should have gotten to somebody who was less qualified than you were? Question is, have you ever lost a deal? You ever lost a client to a competitor that was less qualified than you were? Yes or no? Ashton, has this ever happened to you?
Oh, many times.
Ashton's like, yeah, it has. That's why I work for you. No, I'm just kidding. That's not why. That's not why. Ashton is an amazing, talented person. That was a joke, by the way, Ashton. But I can tell you when I was getting started, even when I got good, when I got really good, this was always the most frustrating thing because you can help someone, that you were meant to work with this person, and they end up going with a competitor that's not even as good as you are. And that's really ultimately when I set out to create this training a couple months ago. Me and Ashton and Chris sat down, we started building out some new content. I wanted to actually solve this problem for our clients and our prospects. So we're going to get into that and really make sure that problem goes away. If you're ready to go, say hello. Amen. Say, give me more money.
Ayo.
Got so much coffee in me right now. Dustin says, amen, give me more money. I love it. Before we dive into things here's the thing. I'm going to give you 3 questions and 3 solutions and an agreement. And I'm going to make you have an agreement with me. I don't believe that you should have any of your time invested into something if you don't have the explicit intention of implementing what you learn. All right. There's too much of this in the marketplace today where you just sit after webinar after webinar after training after training after training, and you get all this information. You get so fat with information and you don't actually implement any of it. So I'm going to make you get an agreement. And I know that you've probably been on training similar to this, but here's the problem with the marketplace today is it's almost like we got a bunch of monkeys leading other monkeys around, blind leading the blind. If you ever heard that phrase, blind leading the blind, that's been, aptly applied sometimes to the marketing world, because we got somebody who takes a beginner's course. Here's how it works. They take a little course. They decide they're going to go out and teach what they learned in the course, but they've never actually done it. And it can create this nasty feeling when you know that somebody who is less off than you are is trying to teach you how to do something. So I just want to set you at ease for a minute. If you have been following us for a while, you already know this. But if you haven't, and if you're new, and if you're like, who are these guys? Who's this guy talking to me about getting more clients? I want you to know that we're not those monkeys. We actually do what we say that we're going to do. We've actually created the results. We've seen the results firsthand for thousands of clients. You know what it is, what it means to have thousands of clients in today's day and age? Ashton, who else has thousands of clients?
I can't really name anything.
Pretty rare. It's pretty rare. You got to be doing something right to get up to that many clients over and over and over. So here's our story real quick, just to give you a background. We started Traffic and Funnels in September of 2015. We had our first $100,000 month in January 2016. We crossed $300,000 cash on hand in July 16, which, by the way, cash on hand is a metric that not a lot of people are boasting about. And we're not boasting about it either, but I think it's not just about what you make, but it's about what you keep. Anybody can probably do $1 million a month and go negative on it. You just spend all your money on ads and you'll lose money, but hey, you can get your revenue up. So it's about how much you keep. In March 2018, we crossed over 1,000 total clients. It was a huge milestone for us. And then present day, we have $500,000 a month in one business, a couple other business, several thousand clients. We are doing the dirty, ladies and gentlemen, on a daily basis. And my point in sharing this with you is just for you to know that everything I'm going to tell you in this training actually works. So take a deep breath and realize that I'm going to actually show you what we've actually done. Okay. I actually show you the secrets that we've pioneered, not only in our businesses, but 1,000 other businesses as well. And here's the agreement that I want you to make with me today. Before we even get into the nitty gritty, if we go through the next hour, right now, if you just say, you know what, Taylor, so far, so good. You haven't taught me anything yet, but it sounds like you're a trustworthy human being. Thank you for that. But right now, if you feel like you are underneath your potential, tell me this in the chat box. Do you currently feel like you are meeting or exceeding your highest potential? Yes or no? It's not embarrassing. Just being honest with yourself. If you say, hey, yeah, I am meeting and exceeding my highest potential, I would say, get off of here. Leave. This is actually something to help you go higher. And so if you are, and there's nowhere higher for you to go, you don't need to be wasting the time here. Here's my point is, if you're at a place where you don't feel like you are achieving everything that you could be achieving, if you feel like you may have been marginalized and you may have been in a place where you could earn more and do more, and if through the next 45, 50 minutes, if I can show you something, if I can unlock a piece of you, if I can inspire you or get you into a place where you're like, you know what? The training that they gave me today gives me clarity and it gives me an inspiration to go out and do more. I'm going to ask you to make an agreement that if I can convince you how you could go to a new level, you will invest another 30 or 40 minutes into brainstorming with us personally, one-on-one, about how to make that future a reality. Okay? Simple agreement. All I want from you is to say, yep, I actually have the intention, Taylor, to implement. If you can't make that agreement, you don't need to be on here, because then you're just going to go through the next 40-minute session and get a bunch of information that's useless, so you're not going to do anything with. But if I can show you how an extra 100 grand, an extra million, extra 2 million is possible, can you make the agreement with me that you will do what I tell you to do and invest 30 or 40 minutes into brainstorming with us? Yes or no?
Yup. I'll give my
Come
attention.
on, come on, come on. People say yes. Hell yeah. 100%, 100%, 100% info show. I love the vibe everyone's bringing. All right. Well, I think I'm about ready to dive in and give you guys some really good training. Make sure you have some stuff to take notes with because you're going to have a lot of ideas as we get into. How many of you know Mr. Tony Robbins? Tony Robbins. It was, I think last I heard it was like 30 or 40 companies, multiple billions of dollars across all of his companies. Tony is famous for saying one of these quotes: "The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions." What that tells me is that there's actually a link, there's a trigger between the questions you're going to ask yourself and the solutions that you're going to find. And my experience in working with thousands of different people with mindset and sales and copy and all of the above is that oftentimes people just are not willing to ask themselves the right questions. So I'm going to give you 3 questions that we're going to ask ourselves and then answer subsequently over this training. Number 1, question number 1. Say number 1 for me. Numero uno. Numero uno. Dustin, put your hand down. Dustin really wants to know this question. Here's the question. Am I struggling unnecessarily? Am I struggling unnecessarily? When's the last time you've asked yourself this question? When's the last time you've actually looked at your business and said, is this actually necessary? Or is this just the way that I've always done it? Like, just because others are struggling doesn't justify you not getting what you want. You've probably heard all of the above. The market's changing. Well, they're in an easier market, and you've gotten all of these justifications for why someone else has the life that you want, but you don't have the life that you want. And it's time to stop that today, because the reality is you're probably struggling in a lot of different areas unnecessarily. Someone could come in and fix it for you. We're going to talk about the areas that business owners struggle, specifically in regards to client acquisition, paid acquisition, sales, etc. The second question you got to ask is what I'm doing working? Is what I'm doing working? I am blown away by how many people just do the same thing day in and day out and day in. And they know it's not working, but they just keep doing it because it's all they know. Is what I'm doing working? You probably heard of the 80-20 rule. Here's an 80-20 rule actually applied to real life. 80% of what you're doing is not getting the job done. When you worked with as many clients as we have over the years, you can make absolute truths and statements like this and know that it's real. I can tell you that we've been through the blogging and the SEO and do the challenges and do all this, but most of the stuff that you're being taught to do today isn't working. All right. And I'm not saying that, hey, we're the only ones with the answers. Obviously, we're not. There's some really great people out there training, but we have done quite a bit of things and we've experimented with quite a bit of things. And so we have a pretty good grip on here's what's working now. And 80% of the BS you're being taught isn't really working. Okay. Makes sense? You with me so far? Holla, holla. Everybody got their coffee? You drifting off? You with me, Matt Silver? Good. Question number 3. Question number 3 is a biggie, and then we're going to dive into the solutions for these questions. Question number 3, and this is actually more times than not, this is the number 1 thing that trips people up. All right, this is where advanced experts struggle. This is where people who have had previous success struggle, okay? But to tell you what this question is and to give you the solution, I got to take you through a little experiment. Imagine that you're in your car and you see a little fly buzzing around trying to get out of the brutal summer heat. All right, you roll down the window for the fly. How many of this has actually happened to you? This has happened to me all the time, especially in the summer. It's like trying to get this stupid bug out of my car, and it's like I literally rolled the window down for you, and you keep flying straight into the windshield like a dumbass. No? Nobody? Ashton, that's ever happened to you? It happened to me.
Yeah, bro, it happens to me quite a bit, but I'm sure the fly wants to ride in your Tesla.
Well, everybody wants to ride in the Tesla or the NSX, one or the other. But here's the thing. You roll the window down for it, but the fly just keeps buzzing straight into your windshield over and over. And in the fly's mind, if we could hook up a little science experiment, I bet you the fly is thinking that, hey, the answer is I just got to keep trying harder. I just got to try harder. He keeps flying into the windshield. It's like, dude, it can't see the whole picture. It can't see that there's an escape route right next to it. You just opened the windshield, or you just opened, the mirror on the side, but it can't see it. It keeps flying into the windshield, and we know that the windshield is never going to break, but the fly doesn't know that. And with each new attempt, what actually happens is the fly is further exhausting itself, and eventually it'll just take a break and it'll just sit there and die. Wah, wah, wah. Everybody's like, oh man, poor fly. Poor fly had a family. What's he gonna do with his kids? Here's the thing. Most experts have this disease where they just think they're gonna stumble upon the answer. They're just gonna figure it out on their own. And they keep trying harder and trying harder. How many problems in your business have you tried to fix by trying harder? Just be honest with yourself and with me right now. Let's just go ahead and let's get Thanksgiving family dinner table personal. How many times have you tried to fix a problem just by working harder and harder and harder? I'm saying it's a temptation that all of us feel, and we all want to just grind. But here's the thing. The question you have to ask yourself today is, who has already solved this for me? I'm telling you, if you ask these 3 questions every day, I don't have to give you anything else. Just these 3 questions will change your life. It'll change your business. Okay? Am I struggling unnecessarily? Is what I'm doing even working? And then who has already solved this for me? And me and Chris, we spent boatloads of money investing into fantastic mentors, people who've already been where we want to get to. They've already solved it. And you hear this marketing cliche like, yeah, I was just, a little farmer dude, and then I just stumbled upon the answer. It's never real. It's never real. Most of the times you look into that person's story and they invested in someone who had already figured it out. And here's the deal. Who has solved this for me? Who can I throw money at? Who can I invest time around to learn the solutions that they have already figured out for me? The problem is that there are these 2 areas of your time. There's this big area of things not to do, and then there's this little area of things to do. Here's the 80-20 rule at work again, okay? And the list of things not to do, are huge, massive. Blogging, networking, website design, ClickFunnels, which is in parentheses, because how many of you know how addicting it is just to go in and play with ClickFunnels? Ashton, I was meeting with you before this webinar, and you're like clicking around, like, dude, who are you talking to? You're like, I'm in ClickFunnels.
All the time.
Big smile on your face, like ClickFunnels, yay! Recipe for going broke. If you're just in, obviously, that the thing is like once you have skill in this, it's fine. But how many beginners, Ashton, have you talked to, man, who are like they're just changing colors all day in ClickFunnels?
Oh, all day. Yeah.
All right. Begging for referrals, working for free, discounting, running ads to strategy calls. Don't do it. Just saying, there was a guru, if we can use that word, a while back, who was talking about how cheap they're getting strategy calls by just running ads to them. Well, guess what? He just fired all the sales guys last week. How do I know? Because I hired those sales guys up. I said, I'm gonna capitalize on that. I'm going to take their sales guys because they ran out of strategy calls. Don't run ads to strategy calls. Worrying about scale. How many times do you worry about scale when it's like, okay, how many clients do you have? I have one client. Scale is like 20 years from now, basically. Don't worry about scale. Hiring new people, writing a book. Man, if I had $1 for every person who was writing a book when no one cares about their book, I would probably be richer than I already am. Just throwing that out there. Guest posting articles, SEO, the list is exhaustive. It's huge. Well, Taylor, sounds really cool, but why don't you tell me what to do, okay? That's what this training is about. We're going to get into it, the Holy Grail. Somebody say the Holy Grail, the only 3 things you need to hit easy, controlled, and sustainable in your business. How many of you would like a little bit more easy? Hello? How many of you could get a little bit more controlled? How many of you could use a little bit more sustainability? That's what this is about. Hand up, hand up. Here we go. This is the first one. Things are heating up. Things are heating up. Make sure you're taking notes on this. Number one, here's the Holy Grail, ladies and gentlemen, is you need one very good, effective offer that people love to buy. Notice that Tripwire is not on this screen. Notice that a product suite is not on the, no, one. You need one. Very good. Very good. Very good means better than sort of good. Stop building stupid offers. Go all in on one effective offer that people love to buy. That's the first thing. The second thing is you need a method to generate quality attention and trust from the people who need your offer. Don't discount this because it's simple. Don't discount it because it's simple, because chances are your business is less impressive than ours is, and it's a lot more complicated.
Ooh. Oh, shoot.
Don't discount everything because it's simple, because chances are the results you have right now are not that impressive, and you're complicating everything. So let me bring some simplicity to your life. One good offer, a method to generate quality attention. And number three, a predictable way to convert interested onlookers into paying clients. And we like to tell this to people all the time. Selling is the process of exchanging value for money and turning strangers into clients. Selling isn't a nasty thing. Sales isn't a scary thing. Everything you have in your life that is good, somebody sold it to you. Argue with me. Well, Taylor, what about my wife? Yeah, she sold you on the fact that she was supposed to be your wife, and vice versa. Everything that you like, everything that is good came from having sales in action. Okay. Sales has got to be ethical. Absolutely. It's got to be moral. Absolutely. But you got to have a predictable way to convert these people into clients. Here's what happens when you get this. Things get really, really good. $14,200 in sales this morning. It's 10:45 a.m. Who wants that life? 14,000 plus 10,000, 10% revenue share. Who wants that life? 22K in sales between Friday and Monday without doing any pitching or marketing. Who wants that life?
Whew, me.
All right. 100K in a month. Okay. I'm just showing you guys stuff to show you that, when you get these things lined up, that's when you start getting the results. Things start getting into gear. Don't misconstrue this though. These people had to work. They had to work. Some of y'all scared of the dirty word work. All right. 4-hour work week is not real. Okay. It's a great book, but it's not really real. So I'm going to show you kind of how these people put all this together, but I'm not saying that, hey, all you have to do is watch this training, boom, you'll be a millionaire. Okay. Cool. Hey, by the way, we've been doing this thing for a while. If you're on Facebook or you're seeing this later and you want the recording of this training plus my presenter notes. So I've got notes over here on the side that they're not even on the screen, just to help me remember what I'm talking about. You can go to trafficandfunnels.com/Grail, Grail. Still learning how to spell. Enter your email. We'll send you a video recording, and you can watch it again. You can watch it anytime you want. You can look at the PDF. If you like to read, there'll be a lot of notes in there. So if you do want it, you can go grab it. You just jot it down now on a later date, whatever. All right, here we go. Let's talk about ingredient number 1. You guys okay? Everybody doing okay? Is this helpful? Yeah, Ray said I didn't get to finish writing down question number 3 before you took it down. That's okay, because go to trafficandfunnels.com/Grail, and then you can just get that PDF and you can stare at it. You can stare at it for as long as you want. You can stare at it for days if you want to. I don't recommend it, but you can. Just giving the people what they want. How about Facebook? Everybody okay on Facebook? Is this too much? Am I moving too fast? I just want to cram it all in. Okay, here we go. Ingredient number 1. Let's talk about how to build effective offers, okay? How to build effective offers that people love to buy. Here's the thing you got to focus on when it comes to offers. And we just did a pretty cool, training on this called The Evolution of Service. Ashton, should we give them that link right now? Maybe you could throw it in Facebook and they can roll up to it later. You can get the replay of that too. We went really deep into how to build offers, but I'm going to give you kind of the Cliff Notes version here. So stay with me. 2 big factors that you need to pay attention to when it comes to building a great offer. Number 1 is clarity. Number 2 is potency. I'll tell you what this means. The problem is when you solve 8 different problems, people get confused. All right. They don't really know whether they need you or not. And this is just classic amateur hour, because we'll get people sometimes who they have an offer and it's like, well, what is this offer? And it's 19 different things and it's 19 different problems, thinking that you would think that the more problems I solve, the more valuable my offer is. Wrong. It's actually the opposite. And a lot of times, the fewer problems you solve, the more clarity someone can get around whether they know that you're the right thing for them. What people, consumers, clients, customers, whatever, they are in a position all the time where they're constantly they're trying to sort themselves. Humans are professional sorting machines. Am I with this person? Am I with that person? Am I good for this store? Am I good for that store? Why do people identify with brands? It's because they're sorting themselves as a certain type of person. And the problem is when you give someone too many things that you're solving, you take away their ability to sort themselves. This is crazy good. Nobody's told you this before. Unless they have. Correct me if they have told you this. But this is what people are looking for. Hey, is this person right for me? Is this problem the problem that I need fixed? Does this make sense? My friends on Zoom, does this make sense? You with me? By complicating your offer, you're actually taking away their ability to do what they want to do more than anything in the world, which is sort themselves and then solve the problem. You got to simplify. That's the first thing. The second thing you need to look at is potency. So how much torque does my offer have? How big is the solution to the problem? Okay. Obviously, number one, if you don't have a big problem, then you got to start over. All right. You're never going to be able to build $1 million business on a $2.50 problem. All right. You're trying to build $1 million business on a problem that people are going to pay $2 for. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And then number two, you got to put a lot of torque in your offer. It should feel powerful and it should feel big and it should feel like a massive solution. And small solutions to small problems will never make you as much money as big solutions to big problems. And this is what I'm talking about. It's very difficult to make a big solution with a bunch of stuff in it. Okay. But just at the bottom, 4-week offer can be bigger than a 12-month offer if it's solving a bigger problem. So here's the tip time. And we'll write this down. Ask yourself and isolate what problem are you the best at solving? And then align that up with what problem the market hates the most. Okay? Ask yourself, what problem am I the best at serving or solving? And then what problems do the market hate the most? And then you align those up, big money. Somebody say big money. Say biggie money. This is how it's done. You're going to get paid in proportion to how big the problem is. And the person who can make someone's life easier, they're never going to make as much money as the person who can actually save someone's life. Let me repeat that because I just think that was maybe a little bit too much goodness, a little too soon. The person who makes someone's life easier will never make as much money as the person who saves someone's life.
Oh,
why is that true? Why is that true? Well, I think it's pretty obvious, but Ashton, it looks like I stumped you. You got nothing. Ashton has officially been stumped for the first time that I've ever witnessed. It's okay. All right. Gabriel wants me to say it again. The person who makes someone's life easier will never make as much money as the person who saves someone's life. On a roll. Here's ingredient number 2. You got to get the quality attention. You got to get quality attention. Quality, emphasis on quality. And then the trust from the people who need your offer. All right. Give me 1 second to grab a quick sip of water. I'll be right back. All right, you guys still with me?
Oh, yeah.
All right. You got to have a method of generating good quality attention and trust from the people who need your offer. All right, so just like there are 2 things that you need to focus on with your offer, let me give you 2 types of attention. 2 types of attention. Obviously, you can have the best product in the world. You can be the best neurosurgeon ever, but if nobody knows who you are, you will not make any money. It's pretty obvious, but it's important to know. It's important because people forget this. You got to have attention. It's all the time. Someone will be like, "Well, I'm very frustrated." I'm like, "Okay." Like, I'm very frustrated because I've got a great offer, but I don't have any sales, and it's been 12 days. And it's like, okay, how many offers have you made? I'm like, a 0. Okay, well, that's why nobody's ever going to buy from you if they don't know of you. So you got to master this. And there's 2 ways to do it. Free attention. This is attention that you generate in return for your time. And then paid is the attention that you generate in return for your money. All right, we're going to go quickly down the rabbit hole and just kind of talk about a couple ways to do this. Free is the attention you generate in return for your time, and paid is the attention you generate in return for your money. There's a lot of different ways that you can generate quality attention without paying for traffic. People are like, well, aren't you guys the paid traffic guys? Well, yeah, we do pay for a lot of traffic. Ashton spends our money like it's his money, and like today's the last day he has to spend it on paid traffic. But here's the thing. We also invest resources into doing things that generate quality attention that are not tied to paid traffic. And a lot of our clients start with getting traffic from no paid. All right. So here's the best way to generate attention: is become someone worthy of attention. Become someone worthy of attention. All right. Ask yourself this question right now. Am I someone valuable enough for people to pay attention to? Just answer that question. Yes or no. Am I someone valuable enough for people to pay attention to? I don't see any answers, so I guess the answer is no. Nobody on here is valuable. Okay, there we go. Yes, yes, yes. Not yet. That's okay. You can become that person. Now answer the second question. Do I show it?
That's huge.
Big distinction. You say, hey, listen, I am someone valuable enough to pay attention to, but I don't ever say anything. Okay, well, nobody knows that you're valuable. Then, you see, I've been guilty of this. In fact, just can I just go personal with you guys? Can I just expose myself for a second? Not physically. I'm just going to tell you a learning lesson that I feel like I've had. You guys okay with that? Or do you need me to be the guru right now who never makes a mistake? You tell me what you need. Okay, well, nobody cares. Nobody cares. So I'm just going to keep going. Oh, now you're saying please share. You guys got to be a little bit quicker. So I'm going to dominate. It's going to take over. All right. This is something that I've had to answer for myself over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Number one, am I someone valuable enough for people to pay attention to? Obviously, yeah. Obviously I am. But somebody challenged me. Somebody challenged me and they said, hey, why don't you ever do anything on Instagram? I was like, because Instagram is stupid and I don't have any followers. Like, but yeah, you got a lot of good stuff to say. You got a lot of good stuff to share, and you share it on Facebook. And I was like, I was actually not posting anything on Instagram because I didn't have followers. I think a lot of you get caught in this trap of, well, I need followers. And I'm doing everything I can do to have followers. And I need to get more followers. And I need to be famous. I need people to pay attention to me. Here's the thing. Value comes first. Everything else comes after value. And so when I had to answer this question for myself, do I show it? I don't show it over there. I don't show it over there. I'm not providing value over there. You got to be careful with this because a lot of times a newbie, someone brand new to the game, what will they do? They'll try to actually put their attention into so many different things all at the same time and none of it works. But for me, we have a team and we're building and we've got all these different things that are happening. And it's like, you know what? I was called out because I'm not providing value somewhere that my audience is asking me to show up. It's just something to think about. You'll never get to stop asking yourself this question. Apparently that was like way less helpful than I thought it was going to be. So I'm never being honest with you again. That was the last time. Forget it. All right, we're gonna go into some types of content here in a sec. But Ashton, what do you say we pause? Let's get a quick giveaway going.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. Hey, we're gonna give something away. I want you to look at your notes real fast. What is the number one biggest aha moment takeaway so far during this training? What we're gonna do is we're gonna give you, Ashton, you saw this last week. I just recorded $1,000 offer training. We're actually selling this for $1,000. It's about an hour and a half. It goes really deep in how we build powerful offers. And so put your biggest takeaway so far. Ashton's going to select and send you the training. And I think we should send one of my favorite sales books too. We'll just make it double.
Ooh,
Double
okay.
mega. Biggest takeaway. Read them off. Let's see.
Let's see, we got value comes before frame. The person who makes someone's life easier will never, oh man, keep scrolling. Never make as much money as a person who saves someone's life. You only have to do one offer. Who has solved this for me? Put time towards what only I can do. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. Let's do it. This one. Daryl Buick. Let's do that. The person who saves a life has a greater influence than the person who makes life easier.
Boom. Boom. All right, let's get your address. We'll send you this book. We'll send you the training. We probably got your email already. Ashton will get with you after. 100%. These are good takeaways. All right, so let's get into some different types of content. Remember, there's paid content. There's free content. We got hyper organic. We have video trainings like this one. This is a demonstration of value. This is a demonstration of us showing you, hey, we have probably been where you've been, and we've arrived at the place where you want to get to, and here's how to do it. Podcast, emails, free training. We have clients. Here's the thing that people don't understand. I'm just wanting to put this to bed once and for all. Okay? Let's just put it to bed. People always ask us. So get on the phones with us. We'll have consults with them. People who aren't clients, they're just like wanting to grow and they're wanting to figure this stuff out. And they're like, okay, I'm in, let's do it. How much do I need to invest in paid traffic to make this work? And I actually created one of the best drawings in the history of internet marketing, because this is what I do all day, is I just sit around and draw things. Not really. And here's the thing. At least, I don't know, Ashton, if this is 90%, 95%, but a huge chunk of our clients come in and they self-fund their traffic. What does that mean? It means that they don't actually foot the bill. Okay. And the way they do that is they implement our free attention getting strategies. No, I'm not talking about cold calling. No, I'm not talking about random direct mail drops. I'm talking about how do you get quality traffic and attention, the equivalent of paid traffic without having to pay for it. Okay. And here's the thing. Check this out. A guy named Chris, and he came in. I think he still doesn't have any paid traffic. First $7,500 client, $45K in November, $20K before he left the clinic. This is his 5th month, 8th month. He's in a place where he had a $22,000 week, y'all.
Whew.
Saying he'll do $36K in that week. This is all from not paid traffic. Okay. And so the name of the game is to actually create, like what I said, you become a valuable person. You got to have the right strategy, or else you're just throwing value to the wind and nobody pays attention to you. But you got to become a valuable person, have the right strategy, and then you create this flywheel where there is revenue coming in and you're building up this base of revenue, and you take a percentage of that and put it into your advertising. Okay. Does this make sense? This is why we really recommend it. People that come in, they start with non-paid. Here's a warning for you. You need less attention than you think. You do not need to be Mr. Tai Lopez with multiple millions of dollars or multiple millions of followers. Okay. Don't get into this thinking of like, how many leads do I need, or how many likes, or things like that. The outcome is tied to revenue, And you need less attention than you think to hit the revenue goals that you have. Let's say your goal is $50,000 a month in new clients. Well, you actually don't need that much attention. All right. If you have a good offer and you have valuable quality attention, you can hit that number.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Just before I forget again, if I'm going through this, you're like, man, I really wish I would have written that down or whatever. We're going to make this replay available for you, and trafficandfunnels.com/grail, GRAIL. You can get the video replay and the PDF. We'll send that to your email. Here's the thing. When it comes to paid versus free, I just think it's helpful to give you these numbers real fast. You want to get into traffic in terms of getting free traffic until your minimum return per hour exceeds a certain mark. Okay, so our minimum standards is we like to see clients at $500 per hour return on time invested into free attention, and then a $3,000 per hour return on time invested into paid attention. Okay, so if you look at our business, me and Chris, we generate about $6,000 per hour in return on our time invested into our businesses. That's a lot. That's quite a bit above minimum wage. I think it's not, Elon Musk level, but it's a bit above minimum wage. Okay. And so even at $500 an hour, you just do the math real fast. Are you making $500 an hour from the time that you're spending in your business? If the answer is no, then this is probably applicable to you. You could use some of this stuff to grow. Let's say you work 20 hours a week and you're at $500 an hour, you're at $10,000 a week. That's $40,000 in new client revenue. That's life-changing for some people. All right. I wouldn't be able to pay my bills on $500 an hour, but you get what I'm saying. People are making fun of me for saying quite a bit above minimum wage. It's true. All right. It's true. Moral of the story is you need less than you think to hit big revenue numbers. All right. Your offer has got to be dialed in. You got to have the market's attention. And then everything is building up to this third thing. You got to have this third thing to maximize the trajectory of your business. And that is a predictable way to turn interested onlookers into paying clients. Who wants to know more about this? Let me know. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. Let's say you have a great offer, okay? And you're getting the attention of the people who would be great clients. But those interested parties aren't turning into clients. You want to know what you have? A whole lot of nothing. You don't have anything. You're not going to be able to get the new house and the new cars. You can't take care of your family on this. Because the number one problem with focusing on content at the end of the day is if you can't get people to convert, you're not getting paid. It's getting personal. I'm sure some of you have felt this and been in this predicament. Here's Cheryl Ann, first month. Literally, this person came in and she was getting stuff, attention for free, but she had some sales issues. And look, we turned paid traffic on immediately for her because when we work with clients, it's not just a cookie cutter thing. It's like, oh, hey, you need to do this and you need to do this. And it's like cookie cutter. That's not how we do it. Everybody's a little bit different. Everybody gets customized. And for instance, the screen I showed you earlier with Chris, he needed something different than Cheryl Ann needed with Cheryl Ann with right to paid. That's what she needed. Look, first month, she gets her first strategy from cold traffic. All right. First close before the second month, full pay close, by the way. And then she hit a massive sales rut a couple months in. And we had to do a lot of work because she was getting all of these leads and she was getting all this attention, but she wasn't getting paid. So none of it mattered. And then boom, she goes 5 for 5. All right, that's 30,000, 50,000, 70,000, a $12,000 hour. It's like, shit, Cheryl Ann, you're making double what I'm making. Okay, this is the power. You can see her exceeding over $100,000 in a month from figuring out how to get this process fixed for her. Gabriel says, what was her tipping point? Her tipping point was we got paid traffic on there. There is no tipping point. Tipping Point is an amazing book when it comes to like actual macro economics in markets. But a lot of times with people is it's a multitude of things. And for her, it was we tweaked up her offer a little bit, raised the prices, and we turned paid traffic on, fixed her sales. So all in the first month. Here we go. When you don't know how to turn attention into revenue, you end up spending your time on things that don't translate to a larger bank account. Okay. And people might love you. People might say, oh, you're the greatest. Oh, I love you. But if that's all you have, then nothing will change in your financial situation. This is where experts experience burnout. The dirty word of burnout. Okay. And the problem is when you're doing things, you're on this treadmill and you're just running around in circles and you're working so hard, but none of it's working. That's when burnout happens. Okay. When you have all of these things in place, you have a great offer, quality attention, sales chops, you can very quickly bolster your impact, your income, and create dependable revenue almost anytime you need it. Okay. Now, sales, ironically, is the thing that we're going to spend the least amount of time on today, because most of the time people aren't even ready to get into sales until we fix their offer and their attention sources. Okay. So there's some things that we could absolutely talk about in terms of sales if you guys have questions on that. But I'm just saying right now, if your offer is basically selling repackaged McDonald's dollar menu items, it doesn't matter how good you are at sales, your business is not going to make it. Okay, so check this person out. She literally says, I'm never going to be poor again. Drumming up business at will. As long as there is internet, I would be fine. Let me just ask you this serious question, because I think that sometimes I take things for granted that actually we should talk about. Would you like to feel this way? You can feel this in her message. Literally, I can drum up business at will. As long as there is the internet, I will be fine. How many of you would actually like to be, yeah, Taylor, I would like to feel that way. I would like to be in a position where that was my reality. Okay, well, here's why probably you're not, is because you're probably focusing attention on things that are outside of these core three, and you're probably going solo. To be real honest, most of the time people get stuck and kicked out of the game because they're doing something solo that they should be doing with someone who's been already at the mountain and can say, hey, just avoid that pothole, man. Don't go into that. Don't do that. Let me hold your hand here. Get on my back. I'll carry you to the top. Okay? Big problem. Big problem. If you're not over $100,000 a month in revenue, then anything you're doing outside of these core three is probably a waste of time. Oh, but you were told to do a tripwire. Well, my goodness, I'm sorry that not everything people tell you to do is the right thing. All right? We'll stop being babies. Let's take responsibility for where we are in our current situation. Here's the thing. I hope you guys are getting challenged in the right way here, as I can come across a little in your face, but I want you to have results that prove what I'm saying. You guys okay? Good, good, good. All right, so here's the thing. Regardless of your situation, and we hear this all the time, you know, people come from all different places, and nobody handed me anything, by the way. I didn't grow up in a rich family. I didn't grow up with entrepreneurs. I didn't even want to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to work at a church, actually. I wanted to be a pastor. And we're still really involved in church and things, but that ultimately wasn't what I was supposed to do. And so it doesn't matter what your situation is. It doesn't matter where you are right now, but there is a process. There's always a way out. Okay. So the next picture on this presentation is going to blow your mind. So I want you to get ready. And if you've been doing other things, I want you to turn it all off. I want you to lean in, because I'm about to jolt you and show you your future. You got to be ready though. So I don't want you passing out. All right, make sure you're sitting down, please. Put your seatbelts on if you're driving. Ashley, you still with me?
Bro, I'm all over this training right now.
You leaning in? All right.
I'm literally leaning in right now.
Okay, here we go. This is your future. Go ahead and lean in and look at it. And ask yourself, do I believe that this could be possible for me? We're not talking about getting into crazy, complicated, stupid stuff. All right, is this reality possible? Okay, it was possible for Cheryl Ann. It was possible for Chris. It was possible for Ryan Steenberg and Tanner and Kara and all of our other thousands of clients. Okay, this is the first thing you have to deal with. Because if you look at this and you're like, man, that seems too good to be true. That's the reason you won't have it. This just sounds woo-woo. I'm sorry. You have fun being poor. But I'm trying to fix the inside, the internal mechanics before we get into the tactical things. Okay. So what if your goal isn't 100K a month? What if your goal is 20K a month? What if your goal is, hey man, I don't even care about 20K a month. I just want to be able to make 10K a month and have clients when I want them. You know, I'm just literally looked down at my iPad, and Zach Pittman is on here. He's one of my old friends. What's up, Zach? Good to see you. He says, I remember the 25K salary a year, Taylor. Because we were friends in Memphis, Tennessee. He's changed his world in only a short time. I mean, I don't know if we can get much realer than that. This was one of my old buddies we would go eat Mexican food, and I made $25,000 a year. And I'm talking to you about making $6,000 an hour. And I did it starting a real business, like a real actual business. Okay. Here's the thing. If your goal is 20K, or if your goal is, I just want 2 new clients a month or whatever, what is it worth it for you to get from where you are today to where you want to get to over on the right? You know, if I could say, hey, you could probably generate $500,000 a year, would you pay $50,000 to do it? It's a simple question. No tricks here. I just really feel like I'm kind of getting sentimental and like looking at the last 4 years of my life. And I'm like, I want to take you with me. I'm like, come on, guys. Like, if I could just show you how much it's possible for you, I could go to bed easier at night, right? And even though we've done it for thousands of other people's stories, it's not enough. I'm insatiable in this. I want more. There are too many people who have some mission, but they are stuck doing the same stupid shit they've always been doing. Unwilling to risk it for the biscuit, as Ashton loves to say. What is it worth it to you? What is it worth for you to get into a position where you're actually changing lives and you know what to do and you know when to do it and you're in control of your future? You need to answer that. You need to write it down. People are on here saying worth whatever it takes. Absolutely worth 50K, 10K a month. Name your price. You got to look at your life this way and realize that everything you want, there's someone else who has already done it. You got to ask yourself the question, am I struggling unnecessarily? And is there someone else who has already solved this problem for me? No matter what the goal is, there's someone else who has it, who's done it, and who can provide you a roadmap to get you there. Okay. Remember at the beginning, I had you make an agreement with me and with yourself. If I can actually show you something, if I can teach you something, if I can unlock some inspiration inside of you, if I could show you that there's an extra, $8,000 a month or $100,000 or whatever over the course of the next 3 years, would you make an agreement to spend some time with us brainstorming? And this gap could be worth millions and millions of dollars. Okay. Millions of dollars. I'm not over exaggerating. I'm just saying that the gap from where you are right now to where you can be and should be is probably pretty significant. Okay. And so the solution to figuring out how to get there is not just to be the fly in the car and go buzzing against the windshield and knocking yourself out. That's not the solution. The solution is to find people who've already done it, who are willing to give back and give you clarity and show you how it's done. That's the opportunity that you have right now. I've kept my end of the agreement. We've gone deep into some things. And now it's time, here pretty quick, for you to hold up your end of the bargain and invest some extra time into yourself. So the question is this the reality you want? Take a good look at this screen because I'm giving you choices here. Nobody has to do anything against their will. Always remember that. Everyone has a choice. Everyone gets to choose. Is this the reality that you want? Still struggling. 3 months, made less this month than last month, got something working. Oh, stopped working. 3 years from now, you're in the same place with the same problems. How many people do you know that you haven't seen them in a while and it's a year later and you're like, what's new? And they're like, nothing. Do you want that? Or do you want something that's more like this? Your life is expanding. You're moving forward. You're growing. You're learning new things. You're meeting new people. You're actually building an influence. You're able to do the things that you've had in your heart to do for a long time. The reason I'm going through this right now is because the choice is really up to you. It's not up to me. It's not up to me. Okay? So here's what we need to do. Here's what we need to do. If you feel like, man, there are some things that you guys could help me with. There are some things that you could really customize for me and brainstorm. We can get into it. And I do want this. I want this reality for my future. You know, whether it's 200 grand a month or whether it's 20 grand a month, I don't care what the goal is. If you want a vision that is significantly different than your past, here's what to do. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps. Okay. Now you need to jump on these because we've made a couple spots available that will book up. And last time we did a training like this, it was what, 2 months ago, Ashton, I don't remember, a month and a half, whatever. We had emails in for 3 or 4 days afterwards because people were like, hey, there's no space available. There's nothing here. What do I do? We had to keep opening up times. So here's the thing. Number 1 is our only metric is client results. You got to know that. We're not going to get on the phone. This is not a pretend consult where it's like, hey, we're going to pretend to help you. And then it's like, give me your money. These are genuine, hey, where's the gap from today to where you want to get to? And what does clarity look like, you know, on actually how to wrap your head around that, what to do first, what to do next. Should you go into paid traffic? Should you not go into paid traffic? All of those things. And so here's the URL. Okay. trafficandfunnels.com/talk. It's trafficandfunnels.com/talk. Pick a time to brainstorm. All right. Right now, there should be plenty of availability. If you go in 10 minutes, there might not be. Okay. But go right now and pick a time to brainstorm, and you will be able to click submit. And then on the next page, we're going to ask you some questions about your business because this is about 45 minutes. All right. We're not getting on for 4 hours with you. These are brainstorm sessions. We're like, what do you need help with? Where you at? So we're going to get the information from you so we can really hit the ground running. We want to maximize the time that we have with you. Okay. And again, this calendar is live. It's extremely time sensitive. It's naturally going to diminish in its supply because of the demand. Okay. All right. And let me know on this chat if the link is working or not, because we are such good marketers that we didn't test it before, but hey, you know, whatever. So here's what we'll talk about. You know, our playbook, how to get the best types of clients, recipes for standing out, how to be different, how to charge more. All right. How to craft the right offers, how to build the right frames, messaging that will decrease haggling and price shopping and increase people's willingness to do what you want them to do. All in all, we're going to use this time together to talk about how to increase the increase the demand and decrease the supply. This is the recipe for rapid, fast growth. All right. And by the way, if you're on Facebook, you're watching and you want more information or you don't see any availability, you can comment on this video and you can just comment Holy Grail and one of our advisors will hit you up, chat with you over Messenger. We can kind of go back and forth that way. We can manually book you in if you don't see any times available, you know, or whatnot. And so this is the secret to getting what you want. Okay. And don't forget that there is this URL here for the replay, but I don't know what questions you have. I don't know if this has made sense, but I do know that, you know, at the very beginning we said, hey, if I see how this could be valuable to me, then I'm going to actually make a commitment that I'm going to implement. And now I'm calling on you to implement. So get your ass off here and go book a time and implement like you promised. All right. Let's do some Q&A because we still got a couple minutes here. And Ashton, I think you've been collecting questions. So let's get into it. What you got?
Awesome. So the first question we had on Zoom is, how do I become a person of value? You know, especially enough for people to actually pay attention to.
How do I become a person of value? It's a great question. I think there are two things. Number one is the expertise. All right, expertise. That's the first thing. Like, do you have an expertise? Because it's going to be difficult to be valuable to someone in, let's just say the copywriting industry. If someone needs a copywriter, you're gonna have a difficult time being valuable if you don't have an expertise. So you got to be an expert. Assuming that you're already an expert and you're like, hey, I'm an expert, I got it. But how do I become valuable? You need to become really good at talking about the problems and the questions that your market has. And that's why when you get into our stuff, the reason our clients are able to come in and go from zero to hero in like 10 days is because we have frameworks actually built around this. And it's not cookie cutter, it's customized. We hook you up with our copywriters and we start talking about your market. And here's what you need to talk about over the next 30 days and post this and post it here. And it's very specific in terms of, here's what you need to say and how you need to say it so that people will be drawn to you. The right people will be drawn to you who need what it is that you provide. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Next question we had is going back to when you talked about having your revenue cover your ad spend, the transition between organic and traffic. Someone asked, do you have a client cover the ad spend? So I think they're just trying to figure out a little bit more about what you mean, specifically like with ShareLand.
Yeah, 100%. So the best way to answer this is I can give you a play-by-play, or I can kind of tell you how it works out in everyday life. Me and Chris started, we had an expertise. Obviously, we had been working freelance for dozens of other clients prior. And what we ended up doing is we just said, hey, look, here's what we feel like people are struggling with. And if that's you, we would like to talk to you. It was more complicated than that because messaging has changed and you got to have some hyper organic and stuff like that. But long story short, our first couple clients, we basically sold them and closed them before we had the product, and we delivered the product, and we used the revenue from those deals and we put a percentage back into traffic. So who paid for that traffic, Ashton?
The potential, technically the client.
The client did, absolutely. And so it's client funded. It's a flywheel. And so this happened with ShareLand, it happened with Steenberg, it happened, I think, with Kara, and I don't know how many other people, Jeremy Boone, people in the group. They come in and they have an amazing expertise. We outpackage their offer, and then we're like, hey, here's where the market is. Let's bring them in. And here's a copy you need to use. And then we're like, here's exactly what to say on the phone. And they say it. And it's like, oh my God. They're like, I just collected $3,000. Like, what in the world? How did this even happen? We're like, yeah, no, we told you that would happen. Now use that to fund the ad spend. And here's how to do it. That's client funded. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. Makes sense. Next question. For potency, can a lack of sales, so little sales, be classed as a problem with the market?
Usually no. Usually no. We love to blame the market for things that are actually our fault. But usually it's not, because there's 7 billion people in the world, and even the smallest, most obscure markets, first of all, if you look at the laws and the actual theories of profit and supply and demands, a lot of profit attracts competition, and then competition drives down profits. You got this weird little flywheel going there. And so if you're in an obscure market, you're going to have less competitors. So you should theoretically be able to take more of the market.
Good.
All right, so this is a calculus equation. Like, is there a market that's not big enough for me to dominate? No, there's not.
Yeah. Awesome. So next question, this is good with this training. Hey, what if I don't actually have an offer yet?
Do you have an expertise? That's the question you need to be asking. Is, do I have an expertise? Because if you have an expertise, then the raw ingredients are there for us to create an offer with you. Okay. Most people come in, we have, I would say, 3 main types of clients. Okay. The first, they've got a good offer, good expertise, things are working, but they're like, how in the hell did you do $700,000 last month? Teach me. That's the first type of client. Like, okay, come on in, we'll work with you. The second type of client is like, hey, I have a great expertise and a great offer. We're like, actually, your offer sucks. Here's what's wrong. And we re-rig the offer. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
The third type of client will come in like, I have a really good expertise. but I don't have anything. I don't have an offer. Like, okay, well, it's going to take you a little bit longer, but here's what we can talk about, and here's what it would look like. That's the third type of person. The type of person who doesn't have an expertise and doesn't have an offer, when we do have a conversation with them on the phone, we're like, hey, here's the book you need to buy. We're not talking about being a client at that point. It's like, you need to go buy this book and you need to fix some stuff, you know?
Right. Yeah. Next question. How do I know if I'm ready for change or taking the leap? You know, I guess seeking help was really their question.
You're never going to be ready. And if you use that grid to make decisions, then you will die an old man or an old woman apologizing to everyone you knew for not deciding to just jump without being ready.
Awesome.
You're never going to be ready, ever, ever. Just write the apology letter now. Do this. Write an apology to your wife, to your husband, to your future kids, to everyone who knows you, because, hey, at the end of the day, I decided to let my own insecurity prevent me from doing something that I didn't think I was ready for. Go ahead and write it. And then wake up every day and decide whether you want to be that person or whether you just want to jump. And most of the time, most people will say, screw it. I'm just going to jump. Let's go.
Beautiful. All right. So we got two, actually, these are kind of more technical questions. The first question is status of webinars in 2019, live versus on demand.
Both. Depends on the market, depends on the sequence. By market, I obviously mean who you're going after. By sequence, I mean we have live webinars and we have on-demand webinars and we have automated webinars, and it just depends on where the person is in the buyer's journey.
Yeah.
Something we'd have to talk about.
Oh, looks like Peyton just talked to Ryan Steenberg. Ryan's projecting $100,000 this month.
I'll believe it when I see it, Steenberg.
Next question. This is actually the last question I have listed so far. It's the best way for customer acquisition for new digital ad agencies. So looking, I guess, for the best strategy for getting new clients for a digital agency.
Hyper organic with a little bit of paid traffic behind it, and make sure the offer is good. Make sure the offer is like, you tell someone the offer, like, hold on, let me cancel everything. They're slapping people out of their office so they can give you a credit card. That's how good the offer needs to be, especially if you're doing an agency. You got competitors all over the place. Your offer has to slice and dice. It's got to cut through. You need people to say, hold on, I was driving to a funeral. Let me actually pull over and turn around so I can give you my money. That's how good your offer needs to be. Oh, I'm on a honeymoon, but I'm leaving. I just got an airplane ticket back home so I can start working with you. Need your offer that sharp. Do we know how to do it? Yeah, we do, but you're going to have to differentiate because of your market.
Yep. Awesome. Oh, looks like we actually had two more pop in. One, how to get exactly clear on pain points and problems of my target market.
Ask them. Crazy. Just ask them. And so we got a client right now who's he hasn't ever had a client before, but he's coming from the corporate world and he's got a great expertise. And here's the thing. It's like, here's what you need to do. Use our hyper organic messaging and get people on the phone, but don't sell them anything. Just ask them what they need and ask them what their problems are. And he's slowly building a list of problems. And you're like, well, Taylor, this sounds like a long time. Well, it's not longer than you doing nothing.
Yeah.
But you want to just sit there and complain about this is the thing,
Yep.
like, do something, get on the phone with somebody, ask them something and develop clarity around that. And then get someone to help you, man. Like, that's the thing. Like, for real, if you're like, man, how do I get clear on the pain points? How do I get clear on this? How do I get clear on the target market? I would recommend getting the help of someone who is pretty skilled at identifying pain points and problems in a market.
Yep.
And pay them to help you, because if someone's done it for 1,500 other people, what are the chances they're going to probably be able to do it with you? Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty
And
good.
last question that we have listed now is, what is the ideal length of a signature offer? 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Caveat, they're a nutritionist.
A nutritionist. Well, goes back to sequence 2. This is a fantastic question, because you want to, and we go deep into this inside of Client Kit, which is our program, but you want to balance so there's this law, right? That people's work will expand to fit the time allotted, right? So if you give someone 6 months, they're not going to do anything for 4 months, right? So you want to be careful of that. But then there's also like, hey, this is a 3-day program and you're screwed basically because you can't sleep. You don't want to do that. So there's a balance here. Part of it does depend on the market, but part of it depends on how complicated is your expertise, how complicated is the program, what does it look like? We just got to talk about that, because if you're doing something like nutritionists, it's requiring adaptation of the body. That's different than teaching someone how to put together a sales letter. Okay. So it's got to be custom to you. That's why we stopped doing cookie cutter stuff like 3 years ago. Okay. It's got to be custom to what you're doing. And so I would say probably the perfect time in terms of average, about 6 to 15 weeks. I think most people sit in between that. Nothing's really underneath 6 weeks, but yeah.
Awesome. That's the only ones. Oh, here we go. Someone just populated. Oh, wow. All kinds of questions. If my expertise is customer service / retention.
Can't answer that question. You're going to have to get on a call, because it's like, hey, if I'm this, then what should I do here? Well, there's always more information that we need.
Yep.
So.
True. And then this next one, my idea to help particular problem, purpose of course solutions. Trying to find an actual question in this. You think it fits potential call? Okay, I got you. Miguel, it looks like your question, you're just trying to ask if a program is a good fit for you. There's really only one way to find that out, and that's taking the 45 minutes to hop on the call and find out. That's what our people are trained to do, is figure out, if we can actually help you, and then if not, point you in the right direction. So I would go ahead and go to the link and book a call.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, guys, it's been fantastic being with you. Please don't commit the cardinal sin of entrepreneurship today, which is just consuming a piece of information and doing nothing with it. Please, if you have to back yourself into a corner, back yourself into a freaking corner. If you have to put your name on a consult and book it into your calendar, book yourself into the calendar. Listen, don't consume without implementing. All right. Take the next step. I've given you some really good things to think about. Take the next step. Even if you're like, man, I just need to let it take the next step. Because for all of you people who just like to sit around and process information and assess, you're stuck. Take the next step. Get yourself past that analysis paralysis. Take the next step. Just keep taking the next step. Right now, the next step for you is to go to trafficandfunnels.com/talk and let us uncover some areas in your business that you need help with. All right. And we will do the right thing for you, as we do with everyone else, but take the next step. It's been awesome. See you guys soon.